Hello all, welcome to study 19 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation. This is a position from a Brazilian chess composer, Sebastião Antônio da Silva, one of the most famous Brazilian chess composers. He was born in Minas Gerais and produced some very interesting studies like this one. In this position, white fights for a draw. You already know how to work these solutions, so you'll have a countdown with 10 minutes. You can pause, you can advance, and see you in the solution. And here we are. I hope you have found it. This is relatively interesting. I think it's easy on the beginning, on the first moves. Of course, the first move is to play bishop f8 check. Okay, what's going on in the position? Well, white is, of course, fighting to stop the h2 pawn from promoting to a queen and to save the draw, because otherwise it will be a loss. If, for example, let's say, what can white do stupid over here? Let's say, like, for example, rook a7 check. Well, the rook will just climb the stairs of the ranks, and when it reaches this point, there are no more checks, and next move we can't avoid the promotion and losing the game. So uh, basically the first move is very obvious. We need to give a check. Now the king can move up or down, but fastly we can see if it moves up, because the bishop is controlling this diagonal, we will have this resource from white check wherever the king move. Well, maybe has no chance, and now we are controlling the pawn, so even if the pawn promotes, we will get rook versus bishop, which is a draw. So after the check, king needs to come down. Otherwise, we already see the theme of bringing the rook, like for example over here, and then moving to the file where the pawn is to be taken. And of course, now we have not many chances. We are going to give a check. Let's see what happens if the king tries the same thing, to go up to attack the rook. What happens? If it goes, for example, to b3, the idea is to try to approach the rook and destroy the checks. Well, we get immediately this one, and when the king moves away, again, we are controlling the pawn and we get this draw. If the king comes, for example, for this side, to avoid this rook a3 check and then controlling the pawn on h file, then check again. Now let's see if we can go up. Here, we can't make the mistake of going something stupid like this, because we can afford as black to lose the rook, even because after the promotion there's a check and we take the rook also, and this is again another win. So here we need to be careful and we need to keep checking, so let's do it. And the king goes up. Now we have this uncomfortable situation because the king can't go to the side, otherwise I will check. We will see that for example, if the king comes here, we are going to be in the main line. Because the king needs to go up, it can't go to e5, otherwise we are going to get the check and lose the rook. So black is not that stupid. Also, going to the side, it's not going to progress much more, because when we reach this position, we again get this kind of theme, and when the king moves away, we are controlling again the queen. So both ideas don't work. Either try to go up, or they don't work. Let's see what happens if the king comes to the side. Okay, we reach again this position, check. Now the king moves to the side. Of course, we can take the rook, because the pawn will promote next moves without any challenge. So another check, and we reach this position. So how can white progress from here? Because this is the key. If you haven't reached here, well, it's time for you to pause and try to find for yourself what is the best move. I think the study is worth it exactly because of this. And the best, incredible, brilliant move from white to save the game is to allow the promotion. Yes, to play king g8, brilliant move, because now what happens? Black promotes, of course. We have a queen, and now also another interesting move. The rook attacks the queen. If the queen takes the rook, there will be a draw again. So something like in these lines, well, rook against bishop, it's a draw. And so the queen needs to move away, but for example, if it goes here, then we get the queen again, and again we get a draw, okay? So the queen needs to move to f1. But now we start giving checks, and if the king tries to keep avoiding losing the queen, well, we give checks and we repeat the position. And because our king is so well positioned, it's impossible. This is one of the drawing situations where the rook, when playing against the queen, can draw the game. So there will be a point if we don't repeat the position that black will have to accept the draw, because in last scenario it will lose the queen and we reach again rook against bishop. Of course, here let me just come back a bit. Here we can't deliver a check because here the things are already different, because the king now can go up. Like for example, we try to climb. Of course, now we can't go to g6, but we have tempo. Here, checking, it's just a matter of reaching, and now it's different because we are going to checkmate, okay? And after a while, checkmate. So even if we here deliver a check with the bishop, then we just move the king away. We are threatening to promote to the queen, and now we can climb again, and even if the rook can sacrifice for the queen, well, in the end it will lose the bishop and it will be a loose game for white. So the brilliant move was to find that incredible king g8 allowing the promotion. I hope you have enjoyed this study from the Brazilian Sebastião Antônio da Silva, and see you in future studies. Bye bye.